Good morning. Today is Wednesday for KAP. We had a little bit of a day off yesterday, so here's the week of adjustments. So just stay till the end of those days. Starting with our warm-up. Turning this fraction into a decimal. Can I have a raise of hand? How did we learn to turn fractions into decimals, Maria?
We just divide the top number by the bottom.
Awesome job. What operation class of fraction bar means to divide? And the cute little phrase that Miss Bible taught us was top and bottom out, just like Maria said. Okay, so we ask ourselves, does 8 go into 9? Yes, how many times? Once. I'm left with 1. Okay, when I run out of numbers, what do I do then? Someone else. Yes, ma'am.
Add a decimal point to the top and put the after 0.
Very good. That number 0 repeats forever. 10 or 8 goes into 10. Class once. I'm left with 2. Add a 0. Bring it down. 8 goes into 20. 2 times to give me 16, and I'm left with 4. Add a 0. The end is near. It goes in 5 times. Do I have anything left over? No, I don't. Okay, so that is 1.125. That is the equivalent. Okay. How can I say that mathematically? Volunteer. What is the beautiful math way? Will.
1 in 125,000.
Very good. Everyone say that? Very good. Okay, and remember, saying it mathematically is going to help me if I go the other way. If I take a decimal and I want to turn that into a fraction, does someone remember? Someone do. So class, how do we do it? Very good. We say the number, we write what we say, and then we simplify the number if we can. So can I have someone I haven't heard from today say that decimal? Someone I haven't heard from? Yes, ma'am?
2 and 36.
Very good. Everyone say it? Very good. So that number that I see will always be my numerator, and then the place value, which we said was 100, will be my denominator. 3,600. Okay? Now to simplify. So we have to start thinking. When we come back to ELT, we will do divisibility rules. For y'all, it's going to be tricky. We're going to find a time for y'all to do it. But 36 and 100 are both divisible by what numbers? Okay, there's a couple answers. Ashika. 2. Anything else? Will? 4. 4. Abe, is that what you're going to say? Okay, yes. 2 and 4. Do we agree that they're both divisible by both of those? I always like to go bigger because it'll make me take less steps. So I'm going to divide both by 4. Again, if I divide by 2, that gets me the same answer. I just have to do it twice. 36 divided by 4 is 9, and 100 divided by 4 is 25. Okay, so my final answer is 9/25. Now, keep in mind, you would get partial credit for getting 36 over 100. You understand the basic concept. It's just you would get some points taken off for not simplifying. Y'all good with that? Okay, you just have to practice those divisibility rules. Any questions on that? Okay. So that was basically our lesson from Monday. We're not checking. Remember, we're only asking questions if we had trouble. When y'all work through the homework from last Monday, this past Monday, were there any questions, problems that gave us trouble? All right. Go ahead and go ahead and put that away, and then we'll jump into today's notes. I'll pause to give y'all a second to do that. So, with our notes today, we are going to be ordering and comparing not just numbers, but rational numbers. Rational numbers, let's do a quick review of that, since that's also going to be in your test. What is a rational number? Yes, ma'am.
Like any number that
Yeah, it's any number that ends or repeats fractions and decimals. Also, we're going to have whole numbers, decimals. What else? Because what?
started with an
Rational numbers, yes. Rational numbers are fractions, decimals, positives, negatives, and 0. I already said fractions. Okay? All right, so we're going to learn how to compare and order those. Of course, the number line is going to be a helpful tool, and we're doing more of the less than, greater than. The alligator always eats which kind of number? The greater number. Very good. Okay. So this is going to be our list. And what do we notice about this list? It's got decimals and fractions. And so we're going to have to compare them somehow. Okay. We really can't compare them just as they are because we just can't. So we always have to get them to the same form. 9 times out of 10, you want to change them to decimals because when they're fractions, if you were to compare them, you would have to have common denominators, and finding a common denominator can be very stressful and annoying. So just do it as a decimal. Okay, just do that. The first step I always do is I write my numbers vertically up and down. So I'm just going to rewrite this list over here. So I'm going to do 1.43, 2, and 1/4. Please do this with me. Okay, there is a method to my madness. So like, okay, what's that do? Nothing. Okay, but it will in a second. Okay. Again, I want to change these all to decimals, but are some of them already decimals? Yes. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to recopy them, but when I write them over here, I'm going to be very organized in my work. I'm going to be very meticulous to make sure that my decimals are lined up, because that's going to be very helpful. So 1.43. This one I don't know yet. I'm going to put a 2 point something though. This next one I'm going to put a negative something, and I'm going to go ahead and have my decimal so it's nice and lined up. 0.80 and then negative 0.15. Okay. Pause. Now, if you're a rock star, which is my favorite kind of math person, you will memorize, you'll start to memorize your benchmark fractions. So those are going to be halves, thirds, fourths, and fifths. Okay, so like 1/4, you would have that memorized. But I'm always going to practice showing you the method. Since it's still new to us, I'm going to show you how you would convert it. I need to change that fraction into a decimal. So class, when I see a fraction bar, that needs to divide. Okay, and what number goes where?
Top and bottom.
Top in, bottom out. So that 1 goes on the inside because it's the top number. So 4 stays out. I don't need to do the 2 because that's my full number. That's why I already wrote it. I know it's 18 point something. Okay, now does 4 go into 1? No, so I add my decimal, add my 0. Get the board, please. 4 goes into 10. 4 goes into 10, class. 2 times to give me 8. I'm left over with 2. Add a 0, bring it down. 4 goes into 20, 5 times, bam, boom. And hopefully, again, we know that. Okay, hopefully we get to the point of 1/4. How can we also say that fraction 1/4? We also sometimes say 1/4, and a quarter is how much? 25 cents. Again, it's not going to be 0.25. I just didn't have that 2, so it's just going to be 2.25. Are we good with that? Do we know where we got the 2 from? Perfect. Okay. 3 halves. Again, I already put my negative there, and then I left everything else blank. To turn a fraction into a decimal, I need to top in, bottom out, and do what operation? Divide. Very good. So inside is going to be the 3. On the outside is going to be the 2. Does 2 go into 3?
Yeah.
Oh, check it out. Yes, it does. Okay. Left over with? Uh-oh, I'm out of numbers. What do I do? Decimal and a 0. Decimal up, 0 down. 2 goes into 10. 5 times. Do I have anything left over? No. Okay, negative 1.5. Same color. 1.5. Oh, so I have to recalibrate. Okay, there we are. So my decimals are nice and lined up. Ooh, what do I notice? Like what? That one's only 1 decimal, and the rest are 2 decimals. What could I do to make them all look the same? Add a 0. Okay. I totally know in the 6th grade brain, like sometimes we're like, okay, if it's shorter, that means it's smaller, and if it's longer, that means it's bigger. That's not always the case. Okay, so that's why I like to even everything out to make it all the same. Okay, now I'm going from what order to what order in this list? Least to greatest. Remember, I like to write it nice and big to remind myself. So if I'm looking at these numbers, I notice some of them are negatives and some of them are positives. I'm going to start with my negatives. Very good, because those are always going to be my smaller ones. Okay, so I only have two negatives. I have one here and one there. And remember, the bigger the negative, the smaller the value. So which is going to be my smallest number? Which one is going to be my smallest number? Justin, will you take a guess? Which one? Looking at these two negatives, which one's going to be the smallest? Yep, very good. So that's going to be the first one in my list. By default, I'm going to do the rest of my negatives, and I only have one other. So that's going to be number 2. Y'all good with that? Okay, now I'm going to cross over to the positive side. Looking at these positives, I'm going to look at the ones place first. Oops, not that one. This one and this one. Okay, I have a 0, I have a 2, and a 1. I don't even have to look at the decimals really to compare, but if they were all zeros, then I would go to the 10th spot and then the hundreds and so on. Okay, looking at the ones spot, which one would come next, Anthony? I disagree. If I'm going from small to big, next one, Stephen? Very good. That's going to be my third number. Okay, because it's that 0, that's going to come before 1 or 2. Okay, next is going to be this one, because that's the 1 in the 1's value. And then that. Are we good with that? Yes? Okay, and the last step. Okay, I don't know if y'all remember this, but whenever I order something, I always have to write it in that original form. That's when Miss Lytle did the integers, and there was like absolute value when we solved it. We had to rewrite it in that original form. So that's why I have it here. Okay, I put the order 1, 2, 3, 4 next to the decimals that I changed them all into. But if I just look next to it, there's my original form. I don't have to be like, oh, wait, which one did this decimal go to? Because you know what I'm talking about. When you're like searching through your work, you're like, I don't know which one it was. Keep your organized work, and it's very helpful. So first one's -3 halves. A little one. Why does that make sense? I'm sorry? That does not make sense? Okay, for what doesn't make sense?
What was the bigger number? Is that like ordering least to greatest?
Correct. Okay, so why is this one smaller than the other negative? Yeah. Okay, so think about the number line. Let's do that. So if we wanted to put, I'm going to put both of those. So -3 halves, which is the same as -1.5. Well, I'm going to put that on my number line. So I need to go 1 whole and then halfway. So it'd be right there. You good with that?
Yeah. Okay.
Then the other one was -0.15. These tick marks, what are they going by? By 25, like 0.25. So that first one, it's not even going to make it to 0.25. It's actually going to be like right there. We good with that? Okay. And Miss Lytle, on that first day, we said that less was always where? On the left. It's going least to greatest. So I'm going to go this way. So that -1.5 is small. To think of it in like real world terms, again, I always think of money because it's the easiest way. This is like owing someone $1.50 and owing someone 15 cents. In which case, do I have less money? If I owe someone $1.50, I have less money, so it's a smaller amount. Does that help? Bill, is that good? Yeah. Okay, perfect. Great. Thank you for asking. Be brave, y'all. Ask the question. -0.15. Third was 0.80. Fourth was 1.43. And lastly was 2 and 1. Y'all good with that? Okay. Open it up. Once you're done. All right, I'm just going to do probably one more with y'all, and then we'll probably be about done with the lesson. And then it's just going to be y'all have practice time. Okay, so this next one, I do want to make sure that we talk about. It says to plot 2/3 on a number line. 2/3 is what kind of number? It's a fraction. Miss Lytle was so evil and she gave me decimals on my number line. Okay, so I've got to switch one to the other. Let's probably go ahead and practice 2/3 into a decimal. Okay, so off on the side, go ahead, practice turning that fraction into a decimal. Pause and play when you're ready. All right, so I'm gonna do mine over here. What's the rule? Awesome job, okay? 3 does not fit into 2. Decimal 0, it goes into 20. 6 times to give me 18. I have a difference of 2. I still have remainders, do I? Bring it down. What do I get? Wait, haven't I done this before? What's happening? It's repeating, so I show that with a bar line. Very good. Correct, okay? Thirds, 1/3 and 2/3 are both repeating decimals, and that's why it's a benchmark to have memorized, so you don't have to do that. 1/3 is 0.3 repeating, 2/3 is 0.6 repeating. Forever and ever and ever and ever. Okay? So now let's plot it on our number line. What are we counting by on here? What is it counting by? Yes, ma'am. By tenths. Very good. So this is going to be like 0.1 and 0.2, 0.3. Go ahead and fill out that whole side. I'm not really going to do the negatives because it's on the negative part. Okay? And so since it's 0.6, that was 0.6. Ooh, okay. So I know it's going to go like here-ish, but I want you to turn and talk with your table partners. Is this going to be exactly on the 0.6, or is it going to be like smaller, less than? Is it going to be greater than 0.6, less than 0.6, or is it equal to 0.6? Turn and talk with your table. I want to hear what y'all think. All right, many of y'all were saying the same thing. 0.6 repeating is what than 0.6? It is greater, okay? If you want to see why, let's compare them. Again, I'm going to do that strategy. I'm going to write them one above the other. It doesn't matter which one's on top. 0.6. This is going to be my repeating one, okay? So right now, if I just look at those two numbers, if I just look at them as they are, they look exactly the same except one has a line after it. So let's extend it a little bit. What number can I write on this top one that repeats after it? A 0 repeats after that, right? Technically, I could add a 0 and then another 0 and then another 0. For this bottom one, what number repeats after it? A 6. Okay? So when I get these like closer numbers, like, oh, this first one spot, that's the same. This number is the same. That's when I like to extend the decimals for sure. Because then I can be like, okay, I can look at those two values and without a doubt, I can tell you that this one is bigger because the 6 is greater than 0. Okay? That's when that strategy of writing it up and down is very helpful. So actually, that decimal is not going to be placed right on the 0.6, but actually a little bit after. Feel good with that? All right. What's going to happen now? I'm going to let y'all start practicing with all of this stuff. There's going to be quite a bit. Remember, we didn't have school yesterday, so we sort of lost a day of practice, but we're still going to post it all. So you can finish this packet, and then on the next page in your packet, you have like an activity recording sheet. So I'm going to tell you what all's going on just to catch everyone up in the video. We have some activities that I'll be placing on your desk that you can work through just to practice comparing and ordering numbers. There's also a quizzes that I'll have posted that you can work through as many times as you would like tonight while you're studying for your test tomorrow. The test review, okay? Unfortunately, since the last part of the lesson, since we were not able to teach you all of the material on the test review, we cannot take it for a grade because that just wouldn't be fair since we haven't had a chance to like practice it. So that test review that y'all got, thank you. Some of y'all sent me like your pictures of it because y'all are like, I want to make sure it gets turned in. Unfortunately, we're not going to take a grade for it, but it's still very helpful. Okay, so tonight, if you haven't finished your test review, go and finish it. And then we've already posted the key online so that you can check it. Again, it's going to be a self-check. There's not actually going to be a grade on it because we just taught you the last of the material. Doing all of those activities will help you study for the test tomorrow. Okay, y'all good with that? Y'all understand? Some other things, test review. I'm going to pass back some tickets. The other thing specifically for first period, this might or might not, I'm probably going to actually stop recording because this is talking about the group, which I know isn't everyone. Yeah, so that's going to be the stuff to study. Check keys. The keys to the activities are posted online as well as the activities. So if you don't finish it today in class, you can take it home and do it there. All right, that's what's